Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. It has been a while since I have said that. It has now been, I want to say, 3 months since y'all have seen me make a video, and there's a couple reasons for that. One, in my personal life, remember guys, I do have a career, and I've been really focused on that. And then also I've been getting my cooking game going a little bit, hanging out with friends, family, etc. Just taking some time off in the off season, enjoying my life, and bills have to be paid. However, it is draft season, and last night something went down. Actually, a couple things went down, but there is an elephant in the room. Or maybe not. Maybe the elephant is now gone, and the elephant I'm talking about, of course, is A.J. Brown. Now, people have expectations of me today, for some of you tonight, that I'm going to come on here and I'm going to rant and I'm going to yell and I'm going to scream. Part of that's true. I am not happy, but one of the other reasons I have been making much Titans content specifically, I have really entered a weird state when it comes to this team and this upcoming season. As I was sitting back in March in free agency, waiting to see the moves that we'd make. Okay, so we have the Harold Landry extension. Good. We're going to talk about that later, especially as it pertains to the trade of A.J. Brown, because now I have a bit of a problem with it, but we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so then we cut Julio Jones. Yeah, not thrilled about that, especially because it's a post-June 1 cut, and turns out we're going to end up needing that. We'll discuss that later as well. But didn't love that. Had some tweets about that. Roger Saffold cut. Okay, still don't really like that. Now we have a hole at left guard, a hole that was not there before. So we're creating holes on our roster. Then I was waiting to see who'd we sign. We signed people that, to be honest with y'all, I really didn't think it was worth talking about. Austin Hooper. I mean, do you really want me to come in here and talk about Austin Hooper? He's fine. I mean, his potential at this point, it's done. He can be a 5'6", if you're lucky, 700-yard wide or tight end. He's not going to be that dynamic. He's not going to make great plays. But is that the tight end that we needed? Sure. He's about an average to slightly below average starting tight end. And I would argue that only because I didn't like his production in Cleveland. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. One, you can blame Baker Mayfield. Two, you can blame the presence of David Njoku, but his stats really took a dip in Cleveland. I thought he should have performed more in Cleveland, especially because they needed him to. So, mixed on that and then some other things. Not really much to talk about. Then when it came to the draft, now this is when my work was just really crazy in the last month, and I just did not have time to go through the mental stress of my job as is, and then come on on my laptop and then watch draft tape and get caught up on all the draft stuff. I just couldn't do it this year. This year I just couldn't do it. So I was just going to go into the draft, see who we take. Afterwards, I'm going to watch tape. I'll learn the players. I'll learn what's going on, and we'll figure it out. And then we get the news mid-draft last night that the Titans have traded wide receiver A.J. Brown to the Philadelphia Eagles for the 18th overall pick and the 101st pick. Now, here was my thing on the A.J. Brown negotiations. Now, everyone on Twitter wanted to tell you, and this is, look, I love Twitter. I love Titans Twitter. It's one of the most positive, sometimes toxic, but mostly positive places in the world. And I just kept reading these tweets that, oh, everything is going to be okay. We're going to re-sign him. Guys, don't worry. And I was sitting back saying, well, I mean, hopefully you're right. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where the confidence that we were going to re-sign him was coming from. I don't know. I think the assumption, which a lot of people need to stop making, and I don't know why people make this assumption. I never make this assumption. That John Robinson is going to do whatever you want him to do, even if you think it's obvious. Because to me, and to a lot of you, it is obvious that when you have a talent like A.J. Brown, who got over 1,000 receiving yards his first 2 years in the league, would have got it again if he would have played more games this year. 3 years in a row, over 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards. When was the last time you saw that from a Tennessee Titans wide receiver? A franchise that can't get a wide receiver to save their life. They finally got one, and they drafted himself, and he loves Tennessee, and he went to Ole Miss. And there's a great relationship forming and bonding there. Now, I would have told you that we are likely to resign him for a 4-year, $100 million extension. That was, not 100, sorry, 4-year, $80 million extension, $20 million a year. That's what my guess would have been based on the market. You saw Stephon Diggs get about $21 million a year. Amari Cooper is still getting $20 million a year from the Cleveland Browns. You saw, who was the other wide receiver that got re-signed lately? I can't remember. There's another wide receiver that's on my mind that recently got extended for around 20, who I feel like is also about A.J. Brown's level. Now, obviously, he's not Tyreek Hill. You're not going to pay him $30 million a year. That's insane. He's not Devonta Adams. You're not going to pay him $28 million a year. That's insane. I was expecting $20 million a year if we could agree to it, right? I don't know what he was asking. Now we know that he was asking for $25 million a year. As his agent should. That is an appropriate number that his agent, his team should do. You always go higher than you know you're worth. They know he's not worth $25 million a year, but you put it out there and then you let the team come up to it. But then you realize and you ask yourself, wait a minute. And this is the report that's out now. We were offering $16 million a season. Okay. Jesus Christ. No. And someone in the chat just said it. Mike Williams, who recently got extended for about $21 million a year. I think A.J. Brown's better. So if we can get him for that money, that'd be great. But again, that's about what I was expecting. So he was asking for 25. We were asking for $16 million a year. You know who else is getting paid $16 million a year? Robert Woods on an outdated deal, by the way. And didn't Corey Davis just sign with the New York Jets for I think it was like $15 million a year? Let me pull up the spot rack wide receiver rankings because we need context for this. We need to see the numbers of all wide receivers are getting paid. But also just think about this. Just think about empirically. Think about A.J. Brown on this team, what he means to this team. This is one of your franchise cornerstones because, I mean, you're talking Derrick Henry, number one. And then to me, I think you're talking about A.J. Brown number two. Tannehill, y'all can say Tannehill. We're going to have a discussion regarding Ryan Tannehill in this trade in a couple of moments. But I say Derrick Henry one and A.J. Brown two. And although Derrick Henry, look, pray to God, he's indestructible. He doesn't fall off like some other running backs may fall off. If you're asking me 3 years from now, who's probably going to be number one if he was still on the team, I would say A.J. Brown, because at that point, Derrick Henry should be slowing down, and A.J. Brown, who's still young, by the way, should have improved to not just being a 1,000-yard wide receiver, but a 1,300, 1,400, 1,500-yard wide receiver, assuming health. That was the projection. That should be one of your franchise cornerstones. Let me also pull up some other wide receiver average salaries. That way we have context. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, Stephon Diggs. Let's see. I'm in quarterbacks right now. Let me switch to wide receivers and update that. Yeah, you're talking about DJ Moore. DJ Moore also got an extension recently. He's getting paid about $21 million a year. Stephon Diggs is actually $24 million a year. Okay, so A.J. Brown was asking to be the fourth highest paid wide receiver. Obviously, he's not worth that. That literally puts him only under Tyreek Hill, Devonta Adams, and DeAndre Hopkins. He's not that level yet, although he could be. And now he's pissed off, so I assume he will be as long as he can take the heat from the Philadelphia, fan base. And that's going to be another discussion for another day. But yeah, DJ Moore around $21 million a year. Keenan Allen, $20 million a year. Chris Godwin, this guy that just tore his ACL, he got a 3-year, $60 million extension. You have to at least offer that. You have to offer at least whatever the Bucs are giving Chris Godwin. You have to. I don't know how you don't at least try to negotiate to that. And I think maybe you don't start with that. I would have started with 18 and then keep negotiating. Keep negotiating. I would not have gone higher than 23. 23 would have been too much. If he and his agents would not have gone to 23, 24, 23, 25, I think that's too much. It's too much of a bet on, while I really do believe he is going to continue to be a great wide receiver. It is a bit of a gamble for me. That's the range where I'm a little icky, we'd have to make cut another player or something down the road for that. And I might be down, especially considering the fact that, look, Robert Woods is good. I think people are overrating the signing whenever we got him. Well, it turns out he's our number one wide receiver. And that's making me even more upset because that's not a great thing. But, he's good. But you need to have that true cornerstone wide receiver, and we had him, and we just traded him away for draft picks. And we're going to discuss Treylon Burks. And then look at the other wide receivers getting paid. By the way, Christian Kirk just got a 4-year, $72 million deal in Jacksonville. That's $18 million a year. You have to at least offer that. If Christian Kirk is getting that, you have to at least start with that. A.J. Brown, you have to at least start with $18 million a year if you're going to negotiate with A.J. Brown. Arthur Juan Brown, what are we doing? So here's the deal. And I'm not trying to be too negative because I want people to still buy their season tickets. I want people to still be excited for this season. I want all of these things. However, unless there's something comes down the pipeline that I'm not seeing, and at this point, it's like basically no way. Like all the quarterbacks that are going to be moved are either moved or they sign new deals. Do y'all really think there's a chance in hell that we're going to win the Super Bowl this year? Do y'all really think there's a chance in hell? Now, the chance is, because this is what people love to, I guess, quote and like to note, which is important. Yes, we were the number 1 seed without having Derrick Henry for most of the year. Your assumption is that if we had Derrick Henry, then we would have went 13-4, 14-3. Okay, I'll take that assumption. That's a fair assumption. So your belief may be, hey, not only are we the best team in the AFC, we're the best by far when we have Derrick Henry. Okay, you can believe that. Now, if you're honest with yourself, you can sit back and say, well, okay, without A.J. Brown, especially now, this team is not better than it was last year, except for the presence of Derrick Henry, assuming health, right? Only that is the argument that this team could be better than last year, and maybe the progression of some players. If a Jeffrey Simmons becomes that true all-pro, which he already should be, but just dominant as hell, like Aaron Donald nearing level, okay. If Caleb Farley plays and is good, if Christian Fulton becomes that true Pro Bowl corner, although I think he's already damn near at that level, just needs that real recognition, okay. If David Long takes a progression, okay, I can see it. If Harold later, okay. But meanwhile, we're sitting back. The Raiders just got Devontae Adams. I'm not afraid about the Raiders. I'm just getting started. The Broncos just got Russell Wilson. The Bengals continue to build around Joe Burrow, and they just made the Super Bowl. The Bills continue to improve. The Chiefs, they're about the same, right? But they still have Patrick Mahomes, and they're still going to compete. The Chargers, oh my God, the Chargers just got Khalil freaking Mack. Wow, that's a Super Bowl contender in LA. This AFC is a problem, and we did not move how the other teams moved. We did not progress as the other teams progressed in this offseason, and that scares the hell out of me. Deshaun Watson shouldn't play, right? He's still, going through his civil lawsuits, for showing his penis to half of Houston. All right, so I understand all of that. So I'm not worried about the Browns. But the Ravens, with Lamar Jackson, they're still a 11-win team, so they're a problem. So look, I still think we're going to be a 9, 10, 11-win team, and compete for the AFC South. And a lot of people are going to like that terminology. A lot of people think we have the AFC South wrapped up. To be honest with you, I think we're better than the Colts. But if Matt Ryan, has a bit of a, resuscitation, we could be competing for this division again. And look, at the very least, you can agree on this. It's going to be a dogfight throughout most of the season. It was a dogfight throughout most of last season, too, until the Colts really fell off during the later half of the year and Carson Wentz, choked it up as he normally does. So I still think we have the AFC South on lock. Don't worry. But I need good arguments as to how we're going to beat the Bengals, as to how we're going to beat the Chiefs, as to how we're going to beat the Broncos. I think the Broncos with Russell Wilson going to be a problem. How we're going to beat the Chargers. I think we're the fifth best team in the AFC. And we're right there with the Ravens. The Ravens are right there with us, dog. Seriously, that's concerning. So, how am I really supposed to? And look, I think that's good, and we're still going to have fun. I'm not saying we're going to have fun. I'm not saying we're going to have exciting games and exciting football in Nashville. We're not going to see Derrick Henry run for touchdowns, and we're not going to have a good time, and we're not going to say tighten up, and we're not going to do good things. But without A.J. Brown on this team right now, the moves that we made this offseason, man, there's no Super Bowl for us this year. Unless if it's just some sort of miracle run, and look, I'll pray for that. I'll hope for that. If Ryan Tannehill returns to 2024, we can have a discussion. We're going to have to see that, but we can have a discussion. But this is just, I mean, okay, I just don't get it. How do you not re-sign A.J. Brown? Now, also, let me tell you this. Now, I told you, and I mentioned this a little earlier. I liked the extension of Harold Landry at the time. If you are asking me right now, would I rather have Harold Landry or A.J. Brown, considering their contracts, let's assume that A.J. Brown, as he said, because I assume he's telling the truth. Look, A.J. Brown's one truthful guy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm in love with this guy. A.J. Brown, marry me. But I think he's a truthful guy. So whenever he says that he would have accepted $22 million a year, I believe him. I think he's pissed. I think he's hurt. I think he's telling the truth. Assuming he would have taken that contract, would you rather have A.J. Brown for $22 million a year or Harold Landry for 16? Give me A.J. Brown, because look, Harold Landry had a great year. While it was a great year, I still don't, he's not an elite pass rusher yet. He's not. He's very good. I can't even say he's great yet. He could become great. A.J. Brown is already a better wide receiver than Harold Landry is an outside linebacker. A.J. Brown has Hall of Fame potential. I don't think Harold Landry does. No offense to Harold Landry. And, I mean, just from a pure, again, franchise cornerstone, franchise player, even marketing perspective, you got to keep A.J. Brown before you keep Harold Landry. Now, I get a defense, pass rush, that's how you win titles and whatever, okay. Well, now we're paying Bud Dupree $19 million a year. Well, I think it's probably like 18, actually. And then Harold Landry, like 16 and a half. Oh, my God. And I don't think either one of them are going to, like, be perennial Pro Bowlers. I mean, hopefully Harold Landry does become that, but I mean, he'll be in and out of the Pro Bowl. That's what I think. He's about as good as he's going to be. Maybe he has a little more. We'll see. Maybe we'll see. I'll still see on Harold Landry. But okay, that's a lot of money in the outside linebacker position. Wide receiver. Now we have not much. We have Robert Woods. This just doesn't make sense to me, people. It just doesn't make sense. Look at this wide receiver. We got Robert Woods. We got Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. We have your boy, Mason Kinsey, because I know there's still some Mason Kinsey fans out there. And now Treylon Burks. Yikes. And now let's discuss Treylon Burks. Now, I'm going to do an analysis of Treylon Burks' tape. I've only watched a little tape right now. I have hopes and I have concerns. He seems like a good vertical threat, big bodied, able to go meet the ball at the highest point of the catch. Very physical. Had, oh my God, so many broken tackles at Arkansas. Physical wide receiver for sure. Now, he played a lot out of the slot in Arkansas. So he's like a bigger slot wide receiver right now. Like, you're going to have to teach him to play the X and the Z, right? And his route tree is not really developed. So not only is his route tree not developed, but now he also learned the X and the Z and learning how to run those rights from that position or from those, those positions on the field. Okay, that's a transition. Okay, I'm not expecting much from Treylon Burks at all. Not this year. You're in a 4.55 at his height. It's only okay. You'd love to have a sub 4.5, but 4.55 you can work with if you're a good route runner. But he's not a good route runner yet. So look, he's going to be bodying cornerbacks, trying to get open, trying to get space. He could be great down the road. I think it's a projection for him. He's not pro ready, right? So there's not going to be much production there out of Treylon Burks. You have to pick up the phone today. You have to call Jarvis Landry. We need Jarvis Landry to the football team at the very least. I mean, I think you got to get Jarvis Landry right now. And the only problem with Jarvis Landry is he's a bit delusional. So I think he wants like a 4-year deal for I don't know, probably like maybe $12 million a year or something like that. And I don't know if you particularly want to pay that, but also I don't know if you put yourself in a particularly good spot right now. So we have to have some desperate negotiations. Or maybe he'll do a 1-year prove it. 1 year, $15 million if you can afford it. Now, since we have Julio Jones coming in as a post-June 1 cut, that's saving us $9.5 million. Right now we have about $5 million in cap space, considering the fact that we also have to get the class of 2022 in. Okay, maybe you can't sign him for $15 million. But, just 1 year prove it deal, something like that. But you got to get Jarvis. T.Y. Hilton's done. T.Y. Hilton. I don't want to get T.Y. I mean, we can do it if we have to, but my God, T.Y. Hilton on this team would annoy the hell out of me. Cole Beasley. Okay. Fine, do it. I mean, what other choice do we have? You can't go into the season with Treylon Burks as number 2. He's not a number 2 yet. He's not a number 2. Ideally, you can have Robert Woods and then another guy that can play outside as Treylon Burks learns the entire route tree, learns to play from different positions on the field. I don't think Treylon Burks should be relied upon. If people are going to start talking about this, Oh, Treylon Burks. Oh, expectations. Oh, well, look out. He's looking good in practice. Look out. 8, 9, 1,000-yard wide receivers. And that's not going to be my expectations. Those are not going to be my expectations. I have Rashad Bateman expectations here. Let's see what happens. Those are the expectations I think you should have with Treylon Burks. I think he's going to be good down the road. I even see some, let me see the comparison I can think of. Some Anquan Bolden, I see some of that. Okay, interesting. But it might take some time, so I would not rely upon Treylon Burks to be the guy right now. Because again, he could be another N'Keal Harry, guys. We don't know. What we knew was that A.J. Brown was a Pro Bowl wide receiver. We knew that, and we just traded him away. Now, that's it on Treylon Burks. That's it on Harold Landry. Now let's discuss tonight, as the Tennessee Titans are scheduled to draft in a little more than 30 minutes with the 35th overall pick. Will we select a quarterback? Now, I was emotional last night. I was just saying, when we were going on the clock at 18 before we traded out of it, or not 18, sorry, 26 before we traded out of it, I was in just such a mood. I was just like, hey, you know what? Whatever. Just draft Malik Willis. Let's just rebuild this thing. Let's see what's about to happen. And not a rebuild, a retool. Right? Let's just retool it then, because we're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. So we might as well do something so that we can win the Super Bowl eventually. That was my thought process. The rumor mill hasn't been much today. I don't think we're going to do it. If we did, it would be interesting. I don't even love Malik Willis on this team without A.J. Brown, to be honest with you, down the road. If we're going to have Malik Willis, who is a project, we need wide receivers that are competent, that are experienced. We have one. We have one. And then even though I like Jarvis Landry, he comes with a bit of drama. So I don't know if you want to have Malik Willis with that. That could be a little toxic. Desmond Ritter. I still haven't watched these guys' tape. I don't know. I've heard okay things. The question is, next year's draft class is going to be better. However, as you're seeing all of these teams passing on their quarterbacks, all of these bad teams, you're seeing the Lions do this, although they have Jared Goff. They know he's not the future. You're seeing the Panthers do this. You're seeing the Falcons do this. They're actually going to go into the season with Marcus Mariota as a starter. I mean, I was like, we'll see. They're actually going to do it. Is everyone else excited for that? Hey, look, that's still my boy, okay? He's always going to be my boy. I'm excited to see what Mariota's about to do to Atlanta. Now, the team's ass, and and the offense is terrible, and he's probably going to struggle. But it's going to be fun. So, I can't wait to see that. And a lot of people have compared Desmond Ritter to Tannehill, as I just saw in the chat. Interesting comparison. Don't know how I feel about that, but that's definitely an interesting comparison. Personally, now I'm just thinking, I was emotional last night. Now I'm saying, okay, maybe don't actually take a quarterback tonight. Like, there is a chance, because I've been very harsh on Ryan Tannehill. They're betting on Tannehill right now. Assuming they don't draft a quarterback, they really believe that he can elevate this wide receiver core, and with this defense that we can win it. They really believe in Tannehill like that. And look, the 33 touchdowns to 7 interceptions was great. The end of the 2019 run was great. But man, every time in the playoffs, this guy has a done diddly poo. He doesn't have it, dog. He doesn't have it. Also, if you're asking me, we don't even have the money for this. I would much rather pick up or trade for, but can't do it. Maybe he's going to be released. If he ends up being released, that would be dope. I would honestly rather have Baker Mayfield, probably, than Malik Willis. Probably. I'd have to think about that. I have to watch Malik Willis' tape, because I hear the great upside and, strong arm, but he's not accurate. And oh my God. Is that the history of the Tennessee Titans? At least maybe not now. But the prior history of Tennessee Titans quarterbacks, Vince Young, Steve McNair, Jake Locker, all of different levels, by the way. I'm not comparing them in terms of their actual talent. But isn't the Tennessee Titans, the generic Tennessee Titans quarterback, strong arm, not accurate with the football? Is that not our template? Isn't that just our template? Yes. So let's get another one of those in here. Let's return to that era where we have to worry about on each and every single throw if it's actually going to get there or if it's going to go 5 yards, out of bounds. Let's return to that. Let's get a little bit more of that in here. But with that said, I thought the same thing about Josh Allen. When Josh Allen was coming out, I just saw, hey, he has the physical traits, but he's not accurate. And at the time, I wanted accuracy. So I wanted the same thing from Lamar Jackson. So the model has changed. It has shifted. You can progress these quarterbacks to becoming accurate quarterbacks. And Malik Willis, he went to Liberty. He hasn't had maybe the best coaching yet, with an NFL coach with him, working with him, training, etc. There is a chance that he could really ascend. So the upside's there. So if we do it, you know what? I'm down. Because I don't think Ryan Tannehill is ever going to be that guy. I don't know if there's any evidence that Malik Willis is going to be that guy, considering the fact that, again, he went to Liberty. And no offense to smaller schools. Steve McNair went to Alcorn, and we know how great he ended up being. But you're making like a gamble. So if you really know the kid and you think he has it, and he has it, and you think you can mold it out of him, you know what? I'm down. Because that gives me something to be excited about. Because right now, I'm not excited for this upcoming season. Really, except for the defense. And to see Derrick Henry again, But in terms of the future prospect, in terms of us being a Super Bowl team, I don't see it, and that's where my expectations were. So obviously expectations is a big part of this. If we were back in 2015, my God, I'd be praying to just be a playoff team again. But now that we've been a playoff team and we've become so frustrated being just a playoff team, we want to make the next push. And this trade and the moves that we've made this offseason, it just doesn't seem, and you cannot convince me, that we're moving really significantly. There you go. Sorry that cut out my mic, but I'm back now. Yeah, so it is what it is. Okay, so we're gonna get to the comments. I'll answer any of you guys' comments or questions that you guys have for me. Again, at me in the chat, at SportsFan Entertainment, so that way you can get your comment read on air. And yeah, those are my thoughts on the move, the deal. And look, again, I'm going to enjoy the season. I always do. I'm a fan. I'll always be a fan, although some people may convince you otherwise. Maybe you aren't convinced yourself. But it is the truth. I just want us to do well. It's like my son. I don't have a son, thank God. But yeah, it's like my son. I just want my son to succeed. And even though my son might do things to disappoint me, even though my daughter might do things to disappoint me, I still love him. I'm going to call him out. I'm going to slap him. And I'm going to let him know. But I still love him. Obviously, I still love him. Okay, so with that said, add me in the chat at SportsFan Entertainment to get your comment read. All right, so you have David Kahn, who gives a super chat. David Kahn, always consistent with these super chats. He says, haha, step aside, MJ, it is the age of the Raiders. Oh, my God, Raider fans. We'll see about that one, Haas. I think the Derek Carr to Devontae Adams connection should warrant you success. I don't know if y'all should be talking about how much Super Bowl y'all are talking, especially in that division. I would still make a very strong case y'all are still the worst team in your own division. But luckily for y'all, that means probably at least like 9 wins this year. 9, 10, 11 wins competing for the wild card. And 3 teams can make the wild card, so all your division can make the damn playoffs. And y'all going to beat up on each other too, thank God, And that's why we're still going to win the South, and we're still going to have home field advantage. So thank God for that. Hopefully, God. If we don't even have that, then we're talking about a whole different conversation next year. Okay, so Jeff Bryant asking, what are your thoughts on Drake London? Again, I've done barely any draft prep. College football this year, I watched as much as I could, but I can't even call myself near being an expert to tell you how good Drake London is going to project, but he's highly touted right now, and I'm definitely going to have to watch his tape. Jeremy Rance asked, what do you think about Trey McBride today? This is the other Trey McBride. This is the tight end. Look, again, I think Austin Hooper's only okay. Although I do like Jeff Swim as a number 2 tight end. I think he's a fine number 2 tight end. If we could reinforce that position, sure. Because, again, I don't love this wide receiver core right now. And until we sign a Jarvis Landry or a T.Y. Hilton or a Cole Beasley, I mean, right now we're below average for sure. I mean, this is one of the worst wide receiver cores in the league as of this moment. And again, Treylon Burks might be good. He's a rookie. I'm not expecting much from him. You know, I would keep your expectations low. He could be another N'Keal Harry. He could be Justin Jefferson, although he's not going to be Justin Jefferson. He had way too much production in college. I don't even know how Justin Jefferson fell that far. But, yeah, we'll see about that. Atlanta Fan 21 says, who are your biggest winners and losers of the first round? Well, hi. Biggest loser? No, I'm kidding. It's a bit of a L. I want to say for the biggest losers, though. You know, to be honest, there were a few reaches last night, but considering to me to be a real loser, and especially for the first round, is if you really take a pick on a quarterback you shouldn't have, made a massive overreach, which no one really did last night. I mean, there were a couple reaches, nothing massive to me. And while there were moves, ours was one of the more significant ones, for sure. There wasn't much else, but I love what the Giants did. I still think that they're going to be the Giants. Until they get rid of Daniel Jones, they're not going to do anything to me. But to get Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal, that's a great combo right there. So I love what the Giants did if you really want a winner. But to be honest with you, I mean, I don't think there were huge reaches last night. No one reached on a quarterback, except if you want to say Kenny Pickett, But he was expected to go round 1. I think most people say that was about value, and then we'll see what's going to happen there. So I think that's fine. Although he may end up being a bust, I think for right now, context-wise, that's fine. Okay, Andre Bunning says, why not go with us at 35 and sit in behind Tannehill for a year? And what do you think about Dalvin Cook brother at 69? Now, I've heard Dalvin Cook's brother is supposed to go lower than that. I've heard much lower than that. I was hearing 5th round. But I liked him. I like him a lot from what I saw at Georgia. I'm down 100% for that. And then, look, like I said, the Willis thing makes sense. It makes sense. And to be honest, look, we've blown draft picks, second-round draft picks specifically, multiple times over the last decade, hell, over the franchise history. Kevin Dodd, how you doing? Man, where the hell is that guy? And we blew a first-round pick in Isaiah Wilson. So you know what? If we take a Malik Willis and he ends up being a bust, hey, at least the potential was there. So, as I think about it more and more, I'm more down. I mean, because it's either that or take an offensive lineman, because we just have to either fill the right tackle position if we want Ratings to play left guard, or the left guard position we want Ratings to play right tackle. But we need that to be filled. That has to be filled by someone in this draft, and I think it has to be within the first 3 picks. One is already gone now. And I think you have to do that. I mean, guard is such a glaring need. I know it's not sexy, but guard or tackle. I mean, we need a guard or tackle with one of the next 2 picks, man. We need it. Okay, so Rufus Lancio says, at Sportsman Entertainment, AJ's money we're going to pay was going to Big Jeff now. And this is true, and I'd rather pay a Big Jeff than an AJ Brown, but I thought you could add both. I think Derrick Henry's a franchise player. I think AJ Brown's a franchise player. I think Jeffrey Simmons is a franchise player. Kevin Byard, yeah, okay, he had a redemption year last year. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's our quarterback? Got our quarterback. We're going to win it all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. That is a Super Bowl 5, dog. That is a Super Bowl 5. 5 years down the road, that 5 could still be together. Who's that QB? We don't have him right now. And now A.J. Brown ain't even in there. So we got to get a new number 1 wide receiver franchise cornerstone. And I still don't think we got the quarterback. What a regression. Okay, so Spicy Curry Production says, do you think A.J. and Jalen Hurts are a good fit? Well, I'm still out on Jalen Hurts a little bit. Look, I know he puts up decent stats, at least in terms of passing yardage. I still don't think he's particularly accurate. And, I think he's improving, though. So I don't have him completely written off yet. I want to see if he takes the next step, and I think A.J. Brown is going to help with that. Also, the maturation of Devontae Smith into his second year. All right, Ryan Ortega says, why not trade A.J. Brown for Debo? 2 unhappy wide receivers for each other, but if they didn't pay, yeah, and that's why. Because Debo's asking for, probably $25 million a year himself. So why, if we already know A.J. Brown's a good fit in our system, Why are we going to trade for Debo Samuel, who's going to ask for the same amount of money? It made no sense. Some people were also suggesting that on Twitter. No, it literally makes no sense. A.J. Brown was not happy because he was in Tennessee. A.J. Brown wasn't happy because we weren't paying him what he deserved to be paid. He wanted that extension. He wants it back. And look, a lot of people, they want to be critical of this. All right, they want to be critical of these players that want their back. Look, there are millions of dollars on the line, dog. Look, I get it. I know greed, whatever. We're sitting here making tens of thousands. Some of us hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Some of us not even tens of thousands. Get off unemployment. Get out of Section 8. Or you're just young. All right, in case, welcome. This is rated R. But yeah, ID. No. Anyway, what was my point here? But yeah, so my point is the trade wouldn't have worked. AJ Brown was not unhappy because he's in Tennessee. He was unhappy because he wasn't getting paid what he believes he's worth, what the market is worth. And look, I do the same thing when I'm negotiating for me, my boys, anyone that I know that's negotiating. Look, use leverage. And it really matters, like, for us, like, normal people. If you got leverage and you can get more money elsewhere, hey, man, get that bad dog. You got a family that you got to feed, okay? Now, A.J. Brown's family is getting fed all right. But also, just even competitively, and you want to get paid as much as you deserve, with your peers, right? With your peers. When you're hanging out, because A.J. Brown, obviously, he's a wide receiver that is commonly known. When he's hanging out other wide receivers, you don't think that they talk money? You don't think that they talk contracts? You don't think that these men that have some of the largest testosterone on the planet to become NFL freaking players, you don't think that they have egos when it comes to money? Of course they're going to have egos, and of course they're going to discuss that. And if he's not getting paid what he deserves, and he's seeing what other people are getting paid what they deserve around the league, and he's not at that level, of course he's going to be a little frustrated. So, the 97BT, CB says your Titans draft predictions for round 2 and 3. I mean, look, people are saying Willis. We'll see. I'm still not convinced, but I am now leaning towards, like, I'm down for that. But again, I have to watch this tape. Oh my God, so much tape. I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm gonna watch every damn snap I can of Malik Willis if we end up drafting him, because we got to see how this one's gonna work out. But we got to take a tackle or guard for sure. Why is someone calling me? This is not the time to call me. And yeah, that's weird. Someone's calling my front door too. That is really weird. Okay. Juan Duenas says, how exciting do you think this year's matchup against the Eagles is going to be? Oh my God. I mean, well, considering the fact that Corey Davis was in, that the reunion did not go well, I would assume the same from A.J. Brown. Although we don't particularly miss Corey Davis, although he was injured this year and he was playing with Zach Wilson. Guys, give him some slack, okay? It was not a great situation in New York, and it still isn't. I know he's miserable. But yeah, it's going to be exciting, and hopefully he just takes it a bit easy on us, man, because it's going to be very, very brutal. Alex M. says our offense is outdated. This is a passing league. Yeah, I mean, this was my complaint all season long. This is not a shock to anyone. And it's going to be a very interesting offense now. I mean, this wide receiver that we're going to sign, assuming that we sign one, and dear God, we're going to have to sign one. This wide receiver that we get, I mean, it's going to dictate a lot of the offense. Because right now, again, Treylon Burks, while he is a bit of a vertical threat, right now, he's much more of a possession wide receiver, as is Robert Woods. So we don't even have a deep threat. We don't have someone that can take the top off the defense. We do not have that right now. So we have to find that. None of these free agent wide receivers can do that except for Deshaun Jackson. Get ready for Deshaun Jackson. He's like one of the few free agent wide receivers. We might take another wide receiver in this draft. But, God, I mean, I don't trust late, even second round wide receivers. Okay, it can happen. AJ Brown, we just saw. Third round and below, that's when you're talking about you can get another Taywan Taylor, you can get another Tajay Sharp. Sharp played well for a bit, but they were still Taywan Taylor and they were still Tajay Sharp. All right, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm like, I don't know how much stock you guys want to put into that one. So we're going to have to see on that one, guys. But for right now, yeah, it's a bit outdated. And with these more possession type wide receivers and without having a wide receiver that can really take the top off the defense right now, it could get a little more outdated, to be honest with you. We don't even have a deep threat. That's not good. Okay, TD Brown says, do you think we should go wide receiver at 35? Chris Watson, Sky Moore, George Pickens. I mean, look, if we're not going to sign any of these, if we don't have a plan to sign one of these free agent wide receivers, then yeah, I mean, you have to consider that. I would take a guard first. I don't think we should double up a wide receiver. That'd be weird, even for us. I mean, who the hell takes two wide receivers, one in the first, one in the second? I have to think back for the last time that's happened. But yeah. Titans Universe says, at Sports Fan Entertainment, will it ever be electric again? No. Can't feel it, man. It's no longer electric, man. He gone, man. He gone, man. Last time, you can feel it. It's electric. Damn. Can't even say it. If I ever make a video for an Eagles game, maybe I'll say it for that. But for this channel, it's dead. And it was so good, too. I was going to trademark that. Juice at Sports Entertainment. John Glennon said AJ was asked for more than $25 million a year, and the word $80 million guarantee was thrown around. I mean, it makes sense. If AJ, he could be lying. He could be lying. You know, he just wants the fans to respect, maybe not respect, or to respect him still and whatnot. I mean, I don't know. It's possible, but I think he could have negotiated him to 23. I mean, him getting paid as a fourth highest wide receiver in the league is a bit absurd. Hell, not even a bit. It's very absurd. And I can't wait to see what this Justin Jefferson extension gonna be. I mean, my God. I mean, that guy's gonna be getting paid 32, 33, 34. I would probably say $32 million. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be insane. We have a super chat from Philip Baddock says, don't this trade send a bad message to the locker room and potential free agents ball out and not getting paid? See Conklin, Davis, Jonnu, and AJ now. I mean, Conklin, we don't miss him too much, but at the time I didn't love that. Davis didn't love that. And Jonnu was fine. He got overpaid in New England. He didn't do anything in New England this year. And I wouldn't have paid Jonnu that contract. So I'm fine with Jonnu. I did not think he deserved to get like $12 million a year. That was ridiculous for Jonnu Smith. So I'm cool with that. But now with AJ Brown specifically, because he was he was one of our franchise cornerstones. If you ask the layman, the average NFL fan, hey, name someone from the Tennessee Titans. One, Derrick Henry. Okay, name someone else. Boom, AJ Brown. Right? That was our guy. And, you know, most players are going to get that. I'm not going to love that. But, you know, as long as, look, we paid a decent amount of players as well. We paid LeJuan. We paid Byard. We paid Roger Saffold for a bit. We paid Bud. We paid Harold Landry. So it's not that we don't pay anyone. My problem is, I don't know if we're paying the right people. Now, Jefferson is going to be extended. That's not even a question. We can't be that stupid. But golly, you got to at least do this too, man. I don't know. And we extended Derrick Henry as well. So, but look, see, we got away with extending Derrick Henry for $12.5 million a year. He probably should have got 15. So we're a little cheap, guys. It's just the reality of the situation. So Turin Davenport's, so he's tweeting right now, apparently. He's saying that AJ Brown demanded a trade. Okay, this is new information. I gotta have to read that for myself. I believe they all saying that. But I'm going to read that for myself. And he was definitely a little impatient. The problem is this as well. So we have a history of paying wide receivers or paying anyone in July, right? That's when we extend people. That's when we negotiate. That's our move. That's our thing. That's our deal. That's what we do, right? There's a history behind this. There's, what's the term? History for this. This was not the case in this situation. He wanted his money now, as do a lot of other wide receivers. And the culture in sports right now, and it's a little toxic, and it sucks for owners and GMs. You're seeing this in the NBA. You're seeing this in the NFL. I want my money now. If you don't give me money now, I'm going to pout. I'm going to complain. I'm going to sit out. Like, I think more than ever, and I think it's bad. You're seeing Ben Simmons using mental health as an excuse. I mean, the pettiness is high. I mean, it is so high. Aaron Rodgers has been doing this, and he's one of the most intelligent people in this entire league. And even he was doing the pound, moan, and complain game so that he could get paid $50 million a year. I mean, people are getting their bag, yo. And look, you either got to catch up and you got to get with it or not. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, one more thing, and then we'll get out of here. One thing that I forgot to mention, and I've been really considering lately, this Malik Willis thing and the rookie quarterback thing move in general, I think is the move. Or I think it's going to become the move. Because these quarterback contracts are insane. If you can get a Malik Willis or a quarterback that's a rookie with the team that's already established like us, and you can spend the difference between Aaron Rodgers' salary and let's say a Malik Willis' salary, that $40 million difference. And in this case, it'd be like 45. and allocate it elsewhere, like to two other really, really good players, that's kind of the move if that rookie quarterback can win. And that's the question. Like, if we had Trevor Lawrence before he got damaged by the Jacksonville Jaguars, if we put Trevor Lawrence on this team right now with his young little salary, and then we just fill the rest of the roster, can Trevor Lawrence win us a Super Bowl? I'm starting to think that might be the move. And you're going to see GMs start to position themselves for this because the Deshaun Watson deal broke the damn market. The Aaron Rodgers move, these extensions, they're crazy. And the move might be, and you might see teams do it, let's just get a cheap rookie quarterback and let's build around him because the scale is so messed up. So that's something else to consider. If we take Malik Willis, we're going to discuss that more because that is something to discuss. All right, so there you go. That's going to do it for me. Thoughts on the A.J. Brown trade. All right, we're going to see what we do tonight. I will be back probably either Sunday or at least early in the week next week to discuss the draft picks in detail. We're going to look at tape as well, and we're going to recap the Titans draft in general. It could be Sunday, but it's more likely to be maybe a Monday or Tuesday. So we'll see. All right, so thank you guys for watching Sports Fan Entertainment. Until next time, I'm out. See you all later.